Hey guys, BreakWizard59 here, and welcome back to another LEGO Star Wars set comparison. And today we're going to be taking a look at the two main versions of the LEGO ATRT. So on the left we have set number 7657, the ATRT, which was released in the year 2007. And on the right we have set number 75153, the ATST, which was released in the year 2016. So today we're going to basically be taking a look at all the features and parts of each ATST side by side, so you can pretty much get a good look at each one compared to each other. And then at the end I will be giving my thoughts and analysis as to the pros and cons of each model, and then also choose which one probably would be a better value. And so, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so before we start off, I just want to let you know, some of you might be wondering, there have been 4 versions of the ATST released over the years. The first one was actually back in 2001, and I have not included that version in this comparison because I feel like it's a bit of an unfair comparison. Back in 2001, LEGO really did not have the parts it has now, the molding capabilities it has now. So it's kind of unfair to compare it to some model where parts really weren't available to have the best model at that time. And then the second of 4 that I have not included in this is from the Battle of Endor. There was an ATST in the Battle of Endor. The reason I didn't include that one, now I do have that, but I at first was going to, but I ended up not including it because that ATST is actually a bit more of a shrunken down model of the build, just so it could actually fit with the bunker scene that was included in the set. So they did actually end up shrinking it down quite a bit, as it's probably up to this height of the 2007 ATST. So I felt like that kind of wouldn't be the best comparison. Plus, that really wasn't its standalone set. But anyways, now without further ado, let's go ahead and get started and take a look first off at the value. Alright, so the ATST from 2007 had 245 pieces, I believe, and retailed for $20. So it's definitely under that 10 cents per piece ratio. So a very, very good value there. And then we have our ATST from 2016, and that has 449 pieces and retails for $40. So we basically are, again, right under that 10 cents per piece ratio. So both of these have a really good price per part ratio. And now let's go ahead and take a look at the minifigures. Your ATST from 2007 only includes one minifigure, which is your just your regular ATST driver. So that's actually quite interesting that it only included one minifigure. On the left here, our ATST, we include once again a ATST pilot minifigure, as seen there. You also get a rebel soldier, and sadly I'm missing the hat for this, so he does come with the hat. And then you get Baze, who is seen right here. And once again, the ATST here from 2016 is from the new Rogue One, a Star Wars story movie. That is why they have those 2 extra figures. But in terms of figures, the new one definitely wins. I really wish they would have included maybe another minifigure or 2 on the old one. Alright, and before we actually get on to take a look at all the different angles and views of the model, I just wanted to show you the size of each. So what you can see here, this model is much, much smaller. So it comes up right to the weapon of this gun. So the top of this comes right to the height of the blaster on this ATST. So this one is significantly shorter. But what we see is if we actually compare the head pieces, this headpiece is a little bit taller. So what that kind of proves is that the legs are significantly shorter on our 2007 model. And I mean, comparing the two, it does kind of look a bit silly with our 2007 model. But nonetheless, both are some really good sets. Let's go ahead and get started. First off, just taking a look at the different angles, and then afterwards we'll take a look at the features. Alright, so let's go ahead and start off by taking a look at the front of each model. Now, one thing you can immediately see is the 2007 model uses a lot of brick, while the 2016 model has a lot of plates used to make the top of the ATST. So basically, what we have here, we of course have the blasters here, which do move up and down, and then same thing with this one. Now, I do actually kind of like the old one better because it actually, if you look at the new one here, as we zoom in a bit, you can see that the clips that are used to attach these guns are actually showing very, very easily, while the ATST from 2007, they actually make it so that you cannot actually see the mechanism with how the guns are attached, and I really like that look actually. And then in terms of your little hatches for your drivers, they have these same two pieces for these like shields as seen here, and same thing with our 2016 ATST, they have that exact same piece in use. Now in terms of the main body of the model, you can see this one actually is curved, and you'll get a better look at that. This one is actually using pieces which are sloped like this, while this one actually just has some vertical bricks. And then it actually goes from 6 studs to 4 studs here on the bottom. So not a real good job to get the actual accurate look of the ATST. But anyways, now let's go ahead and take a look at the side. Alright, so now let's go ahead and take a look at the sides. Now what you can see right off the bat, the 2007 ATST uses a lot of bricks. So there's a lot of like basic bricks, like 1x2s, 2x4s, 1x4s, a lot of basic bricks used to make this top hatch. And then this one, of course, has a lot more of the plates. Now here we have a look at the blasters. So this one is a pretty basic design as we go ahead and zoom in a bit. But you can see it's just made using this like special gray mold here, and it's connected with one of those hammers. On the left, we actually have a bit of a more interesting one. This one actually has a couple of round bricks connected to the main part. And of course both of them do move, as we see here. So they both have some really nice playability to them. And now let's go ahead and take a look at the back. Alright, so here we have a look at the back of the model. And what you can see here is, here on the 2007 one, once again, it's actually really nicely covered up. You can't really see any of the Technic parts, while on this model you can actually see a lot of the Technic beams, which I'm not a huge fan of. Plus you can kind of see the mechanism of how the top opens. But what I really do like, they do have a use of stickers here to add some more detailing. Here it's pretty bare. It's just using a couple of studs and slope bricks, which I'm not a huge fan of. And now let's go ahead and take a look at the other side. Alright, and we have the last side of the ATST here. So what you can see here, they basically both have the double-barreled guns. This one is much larger, and I really like how that looks. This one is just basically very simple, using a small binocular piece. And there you go, that's it for a look at this side. Alright, and lastly, let's go ahead and take a look at the playability. So first off, let's go ahead and take a look at the legs. So the 2016 model has 1 point of articulation, meaning this is the only place you can actually move your legs. This part, you can't really move anything here or the foot. So that is a bit of a con. So when you can't really make it, like even if you do move this portion, it won't actually stand up because the foot is not flat on the ground. So that is one flaw, that it only has 1 point of articulation. Meanwhile, we take a look at our 2007 model. And while the legs, yes, are much more basic, I really love the look of the leg design because it is a lot more detailed on the 2016 version. This one has much more articulation. So you have your 1 point of articulation here, you have a second point of articulation here, and then you have a third point of articulation. So it's really, really nice because now for this ATST, you can actually position it much, much better in terms of battle scenes, and I really like how that is done. But at the same time, this does have a superior design in terms of aesthetics. Alright, and lastly, we'll take a look at its spinning feature. So of course, both versions, you can actually spin the head around. And many people were pretty excited to see that feature in the 2016 version, but it is actually present in the 2007 model as well. So basically what you need to do, you have this knob right here, and when you rotate it, you can spin the head, and the head does not move 360 degrees. It is stopped by when it hits this piece, but it is a bit more accurate in terms of the amount it can spin. And then we have the 2016 version, where you once again have a lever here, and when you rotate it, you can spin it. And the good part is you can actually spin it 360 degrees, and I actually really do like that. It's a lot. And what another good thing is this: when you actually move it, you can hear that noise. It kind of moves from like different positions, but it actually stops at each position. So that way, it's a lot easier to position your head at a really specific angle. And the old one actually is a lot more simple. Again, they just have the regular turntable, so it's kind of difficult to position it at a really specific angle. So that's a look at that, and now finally we'll go ahead and take a look at the interiors. Alright, so here's a look at the interior. We of course, for both of them, have a small hatch here which can open up. But what's really cool about our 2016 version, you can actually pull this whole thing up, the whole top section, where you can't do that on this. So in terms of the interior, what you have here is a really, really good interior. You have one seat for your driver right there, you have a spot for his weapon, and then a really cool detailed computer panel. Meanwhile, for our 2007 version, for one, this is the only way it can open up, and it's little difficult to get your hand in it, while in this one you can actually put your full hand inside, so it's kind of difficult to fit your minifigure. But there's just one seat there, a clip for his gun, and a red plate, which is kind of your control panel. So really simple design here, but what's interesting is you have a lot of space back there. It's a little tough to see, but you can see there's a lot of space back there. So you can actually kind of fit another minifigure if you really wanted to, while that is not the case on this one. But there's a look at your interiors. Alright, and there's a look at the two ATSTs once again, side by side. So now let's go ahead and get a quick bit of analysis done and see which one is better. Let's start off with our 2007 model. Pros for the 2007 model is that of course it has a lot more articulation on the legs. I really do like the look of the weapons here. But in terms of cons, it only includes one minifigure, which, you know, isn't the best. I wish they would have really included maybe another minifigure or two. The interior is really, really bland. They could have easily added a couple more parts and made it a bit more detailed. And other than that, that's all for our 2007 model. So a pretty basic model. It doesn't really have too many cons either, so it's a pretty good model. Our 2016 ATST, pros mean it's much more detailed, has a much better interior. I really like the look that it's actually a lot more accurate. This one is a bit more inaccurate in terms of its overall shape. This one's much more accurate. They did a really good job. I love the use of these angled plates on the front. And then it has some good playability, once again, as I said, on the interior. And I really like how they include a lot of stickers to add some small details in places where it might not be all that necessary, but I really like they do include that. Then I like that you can actually open up the whole top here to access the inside easier, while in this one it's a lot more difficult to fit your minifigure and blaster. In terms of cons, there's only really one, and that is that the legs only have 1 point of articulation, and that kind of takes away from the playability of the model. Once again, in terms of price per piece, both are really good. Actually, nowadays this one does go for $30, so it is a bit more expensive here on the aftermarket, but still it's a decent value for what you get. In terms of minifigures, of course, this one is far superior. Once again, I would have wished they would have included one more minifigure. So overall, what would be the one that you guys should get? Should you get the 2007 model for around $30, or should you get the 2016 model for $40? Now, as if now, because this one does go for $30, it is the weaker of the two. I would much rather have you get the extra $10 and get about this much more in terms of size. So there's a few bricks more in terms of size. So I would say this one is much, much better. You get more minifigures. Again, a better price per piece, because now that this one has gone up in value in the aftermarket. So I would say go ahead and pick up the 2016 one. I feel like you can somewhat modify the legs and make it into a such that you can actually move them. But there you go. That's it for my ATST comparison. Thank you so much for watching. Definitely give this video a thumbs up and put down in the comments which one you think is better. And stay tuned for more videos coming very soon. Definitely give this video a thumbs up and do not forget to subscribe. So this is Brick Wizard 59, and I'll see you all next time.